Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. When it comes to the governor for Nairobi, His Excellency Johnson Sakaja, opinion is harshly divided. There are those who maintain that Sakaja has done significant improvement to Nairobi. They go to Nairobi CBD. It is starting to look like a capital city in terms of the pavements and other things. For the first time, you are seeing garbage collecting trucks in your estate. The Green Army has cleared several drainage, making some estates that were not passable during rains very habitable. And a lot of things that Sakaja has done. So there are those who say this is somebody we've been looking for, and let us give him a chance. But ladies and gentlemen, there are also those of the opinion that Nairobi cannot be entrusted to somebody other than Gema. And this group of people are led by none other than Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua, in his several Meet the People tour in Nairobi, he made it clear that never again are they going to give Nairobi to anybody who is not from Gema. They are not going to vote a governor who is not from their community, because governors who are not from their community have mistreated their people. According to Rigathi and these people who believe Sakaja is the worst, they are saying that Sakaja has persecuted Kikuyus in Nairobi and has made their life miserable, and they are not doing very well business-wise. So they want him gone like yesterday. The question is, does the support of William Ruto and that of Raila Odinga guarantee Sakaja's second term? That is what we want to answer in this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you are interested in that, as always, keep watching. And if you are watching us for the first time, or you are a frequent viewer who has not subscribed, it won't cost you anything. Just take a second, subscribe to the channel. The beauty is that anytime we produce these videos, you are notified. Like I was saying, Sakaja is being praised and being condemned. Those who praise him look at the things he has done within the 3 years he has been in office. There are those who are also looking at what he has not done within the 3 years and saying, this man must go, he's a disaster, and other terms. As you know, Kenyans can be really graphic when they hate you. So Sakaja would be painted as many other things. But there is how Sakaja does his politics that makes him survive and emerge victorious in cases where it was thought impossible. Sakaja was in Kibaki's mobilizing team, especially in Nairobi. And it wasn't very popular then. It was, I think, in school. It wasn't very popular then, but it was very strategic, because they ended up forming a party and giving that party to Uhuru Kenyatta. And Sakaja used that position as the chairman of a party. I think he was one of the, if not the youngest politician to be, the youngest person to be the chair of a political party. The party that he had, that is TNA, became a very popular party after Uhuru launched him in the most colorful way. You know Uhuru Kenyatta, he has the resources. So when he does the launches, they are done at international levels. And so just like that, Sakaja became popular, because now with that TNA, Sakaja being the chairman, it is said that Sakaja ensured that he nominated himself into parliament, making him also one of the youngest members of parliament in the history of this country. In parliament, Sakaja knew how to get attention, because most nominated MPs disappear in the crowd. Nobody knows what they do. In fact, I could ask you about nominated MPs. Mostly you will not mention most of them. You don't know them. You don't know what they do. But Sakaja was not like that. Sakaja used that opportunity in the National Assembly to really do a lot of legislations towards the youth. Sakaja is responsible for the law that requires that at least 30% of procurement, of government procurement, be set aside for the youth, women, and people with disability. That is Sakaja for you. So he knows how to make himself known and felt. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, it was very easy for Sakaja to win the senatorial race in Nairobi under Jubilee in 2017. He really won by wide margin, by the way. He won the senatorial seat by a wide margin. He knows how to strategize, even in parliament, even in the Senate. Sakaja knew how to make himself felt. He knew how to be known, but he never approaches politics in a controversial way. Like Sakaja doesn't fight people openly. He might do his things, what Waswahili here calls chini ya maji, but he knows how to really do things. I am not just praising Sakaja. I'm telling you the things that he's done. Sakaja knew how to get elected as a governor. Remember, Sakaja initially wanted to vie for governor under Jubilee. And so he was with Azimio most of the time. He was one of these people who were mocking our bottom up. And then he realized that Uhuru had decided that he was going to give the gubernatorial ticket to Igathe. And this is something that Sakaja did not take lightly. So he didn't just stay in Jubilee and watched or said, let me go and defend my Senate seat. Because in that arithmetic, if Jubilee was being given the gubernatorial ticket, then know very well that ODM was going to demand the Senate and the women rep. And demanding they did. That is why the Senate and the women rep went for ODM in the Azimio arrangement. This was leaving Sakaja without anything. There is no constituency that Sakaja had identified that he would go back to in Nairobi and contest. Either he would contest for Senate or for governor. And contesting for governor as an independent in Nairobi was not going to work. So Sakaja looked for a way of getting into UDA, but not directly. He wanted to get into UDA at a certain senior level where it was very easy to bargain for Sakaja to be the UDA candidate. And that is what he did. He went to Mudavadi's ANC. When Mudavadi's ANC moved into Kenya Kwanza, I think one of the negotiations was that this kijana yangu Sakaja should be given the ticket to be the governor. And Sakaja also knew that unlike other candidates from Kenya Kwanza, like Omanga and Wanjiro, who were depending solely on the Kikuyu vote, he was likely to get a wider vote, especially from Luos, because Luos, from the look of things, were not very comfortable giving Igathe their votes. So while majority voted for Igathe, a sizable number also voted for Sakaja. And that is how, ladies and gentlemen, Sakaja won the election, while the other two Kenya Kwanza candidates at Senate and women rep seat lost the election to ODM. So it's like Sakaja got the boost from ODM and won. What I'm telling you is that the man knows how to position himself in ways that you should not underestimate. That is why when I see people underestimating the likes of Sakaja, saying Nairobi has not re-elected a governor, I'm like, this is being so simplistic, for lack of a better word, because if Sonko had not been impeached, I am telling you on this channel, if Mike Mbuvi Sonko had not been impeached by Uhuru, he would have won his second term by a landslide. It didn't matter where he was going to vie, whether his party was NAK Kenya. He was going to win by a landslide because Mike Sonko knows how to get votes from the common Nairobian person. He knows how to get votes from Nairobi women. They vote for that man. to the last person. So it doesn't matter. I remember when he was vying against Kidero, Mike Sonko was overwhelmingly voted by Luos, who would have rather voted for Kidero, but he has some charm. There is how he connects with the common mwananchi. He knows what we call selective generosity, where you do something for specific person that represents a larger group, and then this other group, then the members of that group feels like my day will come. For instance, he can go to Kenyatta Hospital and bail all the women who are who are unable to pay for their maternity fees, and not just bail them. He takes all of them to Nairobi Hospital, an hospital that these ordinary Kenyans would have never stepped foot in. And this is broadcasted. He has agents in the media who will make this big news, and he has serious social media following. He's a kind of a celebrity. So he knows how to get these people to believe that he is their savior. And that means, given an opportunity, he would have vied here for a second term and won without problems. Even if they didn't stop him from vying in Mombasa, he would have still won there. So the narrative that Nairobi doesn't allow a second term governor. We have only had 3 gubernatorial elections, and I have told you why Kidero did not make it a second time. Some Luos were not very comfortable with it. And he was also going against a charismatic leader like Sonko, somebody that people would vote for irrespective of their political affiliation. Unlike Sonko, Sakaja is not all that charismatic. No. But Sakaja knows how to strategically place himself. Take an example. Elections are over. It is being contested at the Supreme Court. ODM, Azimio, is insisting that William Ruto has rigged that election, and they are demanding that it be nullified. Of course, William Ruto wins the Supreme Court and is sworn in. But Raila and these people are not happy, and William Ruto is being seen as an enemy that must be opposed at all costs. Sakaja, a UDA governor, goes ahead to do the unthinkable. He nominates into his cabinet of 10, 6 of them, more than 6, were actually from Azimio, with some being Uhuru's buddies and even Raila's aide. So why would he do this? Because he understood that 2 things. The assembly was controlled by Azimio, though UDA was the majority as far as a single party was concerned, followed by ODM. But if you added Wiper and Jubilee and others, Azimio was the majority in the Nairobi County Assembly. And since the assembly was controlled by Azimio, it would be possible for them to frustrate Sakaja. It would be possible for these people to even impeach Sakaja. And so Sakaja positioned himself as a neutral person, bringing in both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza into his cabinet. And by bringing Raila's aid, Raila's blessing came with it. So most of ODM and Azimio MCS were more loyal to Sakaja than UDA MCS were. Remember, UDA MCS would call press conferences to complain how Sakaja was not very loyal to the party. But he positioned himself in a way that it allowed him to pass budgets. It allowed him to do everything that he wanted to do. And when Raila and Ruto eventually came together, Sakaja was already had the blessing of Raila to continue serving the people and even get re-elected. So when Ruto and Raila come together, Ruto now has no option, because this is his governor, a UDA governor, with the support of the opposition, with the support of ODM. He was now okay, very okay. Sakaja was now sorted. So back to our question. Can Sakaja, with the support of William Ruto and Raila Odinga, get his 2 term? Other candidates might struggle, but with Sakaja, unless ODM chooses to give their ticket to someone else, Sakaja is likely to get re-elected. Because the contenders, the people who could be a big threat to Sakaja's re-election would be Mike Sonko, who is barred from vying since he was impeached, which is good news to Sakaja, because that would be a real threat whether he was vying independent. He doesn't need anybody's support. He would get Nairobians behind him. And Babu Owino. But Babu Owino would only be a threat if he had the support of ODM, because he would get the ODM support and he would still get sympathy vote from significant portion of the Kikuyus, even if Kikuyus had their own candidate in the race. That would be the only case where Sakaja would be threatened. But if Babu Owino goes with the Kikuyu vote alone without Raila behind him, he will get significant votes, but chances are that Sakaja might win without problem. I want to tell you, William Ruto and Raila Odinga backing you is very important. William Ruto and Raila backing you, especially in Nairobi, is important. Now, whereas William Ruto doesn't influence a lot of votes in Nairobi per se, Raila does. But what William Ruto comes with that may be lacking elsewhere is political strategy and the state support. So with the state support, political strategy from William Ruto, the votes and the loyalty Raila enjoys, Sakaja might get re-elected, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I wanted to tell you. If you found value in this video, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed, please take a second, subscribe. It won't cost you anything. Just subscribe so that we grow the channel together. And don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share it with friends so that they can also get value. That is only if you got value, by the way. I always say this deliberately, that if you get value, share. So share if you get value in the video. And getting value does not mean that you liked what I was saying. It's like perhaps it was thought-provoking, but you disagreed. But that is still getting value. So share it with friends, like it. And if you want to know whether Babu Owino can win any seat in Nairobi without Baba, watch this video.